Here are 6 hobbies that will transform your life in 2026. And who am I to speak on any of this? In just 3 years, I went from a total fat loser to being in amazing shape, Muay Thai fights, hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers, and being the founder of a software startup. But most importantly, I've gained the self-respect that allows me to live a fulfilling life day to day. So 6 hobbies, let's get into it. Number 1, fitness. So this channel is mostly fitness related, so what better way than to start off with the one thing that I am most passionate about and the one that changed my life the most. Fitness is the gateway to self-improvement. Period, girl. I'm never doing that again. When you get into better shape, the positive feedback loop is basically instant. People start treating you better, you become more confident, and then the idea comes into your mind that maybe if you get into even better shape, people will start to treat you even better, which they usually do. But to get there, you have to better your sleep, you have to better your diet, you have to not be going out and staying up late, you have to get everything in order within your life to actually get better progress in fitness. And so by virtue of this, everything just tends to neatly fall into place. This is me in 2020. My life was miserable and this is the fattest I've ever been. And if it wasn't for me starting an exercise regimen, I genuinely don't think I would have accomplished anything that I ever have today. You see, fitness is the ultimate form of delayed gratification that everybody intuitively understands. You do the hard work today, you do the hard work tomorrow, you do this for weeks and months on end without seeing results, and then maybe after a year, you will look back and be like, oh my god, I look completely different. Exercise tends to be the first form of self-discipline that people get into, and this typically allows people to better understand the concept of delaying gratification, delaying the instant reward now for a bigger reward in the future. So all of this blabbing out of the way, how did I start exercise and what do I recommend for you? Start with strength training 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Why? To get a better explanation, I really recommend that you go 2 videos back on my channel and watch the video on how I'm 10 times more active than the average person. But if you won't, in short, the main idea given in that video when it comes to weightlifting is that you start with calisthenics or weightlifting because it is much more addictive than any other form of sports typically, and most importantly, it's far more addictive than cardio. And 99 times out of 100, what I find is that the people who get into strength training like weightlifting and calisthenics actually get addicted to that exercise, and then by nature, when they want to actually tone up their muscles, you know, when they want to drop that body fat, then they just naturally get into cardio without it being a hassle whatsoever. But usually the other way around doesn't work that often. Usually people do not start with cardio and then go into strength training. The joke that I made on the previous video is that the amount of people who strength train and do cardio is actually higher than the amount of people who just do cardio. Now this statistic doesn't make sense when you first think about it, but then the more you think about it, the more it actually makes sense. But this is exactly what I did, and this is exactly what I recommend to you. Strength training 3 days a week for 30 minutes. You need to start easy. I only did home workouts 30 minutes per day. Since I already had experience, I was able to do it every single day, but if you are a beginner who has no experience, then do it 3 times per week. I find that this is the golden spot for most beginners where it's not too little so they actually see some progress, and it's not too much to where they want to quit. So if you've never worked out, and what I mean by that is you've never been consistent for longer than a year with exercise, start 3 days per week, 30 minutes. For those 30 minutes, you either do push-ups and squats at home, or you go to the gym and lift some weights. Slowly progress this over time, turn the 3 days into 4 days, or instead of doing 30 minutes, maybe do 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Slowly progress this over time up until after a couple weeks, after a couple months, you are exercising every single day. And if you cannot find 90 minutes of free time within a week that has 10,000 free minutes that you can use, then you're a lost cause and you should probably just click off this video, and I'm being serious. I do not associate with weak-minded people, and frankly, I don't need your views. I don't serve weak-minded people, people who don't believe in themselves, people who can't find 90 minutes in a 10,000 minute week. What's the point of them watching my videos? They're never gonna buy any of my products, they're never gonna take my advice, and then they're gonna blab onto other people talking about, oh, this guy's too extreme. No, fuck off. Click off my channel if you're not willing to do that. Now, for the real killers that are still watching, let's disregard all of these losers and get into number 2, reading. As you can see in the back there, I'm quite an avid reader, and it was around the time that I started reading that my YouTube channel actually started blowing up and my psychology became substantially different. different. And is this a coincidence? See, I really don't think so. It is said that if you read 3 books on any topic, you will know more than 99% of people on that topic. And honestly, I don't think this is an over-exaggeration at all. You see, a book is decades of knowledge condensed down into 10 hours with step-by-step practical action plans that you can implement immediately. And look, I never finished a single book up until I turned 18 years old, so I am not a natural born reader. This didn't come easy to me. Like literally, I had to relearn how to read at the age of 18. So if you've never finished a book, don't worry about it, because I will teach you in this video how to actually enjoy reading and become consistent with it. So first and foremost, I actually hated reading in school. I could not stand the stupid literature books that we had to read. Of Mice and Men, Edgar Allan Poe poems, some feminist propaganda black suburbs bullshit. Like bro, I live in Eastern Europe. There are no black people here. Why the fuck am I spending hours of my time learning about the cost of living crisis for black African Americans? And so I never understood reading up until I discovered non-fiction books, and specifically non-fiction books on the exact skill that I wanted to develop. For some reason, it just never occurred to me that I could read books on how to become better socially, or how to manage my money better, or how to become more productive. But this is what flipped the switch in me. I started reading non-fiction books to improve my life, and that is the only way that I found reading enjoyable. If you are trying to lose weight, read 3 books on weight loss. If you are trying to build a business, read 3 books on business. If you are trying to become more social, read 3 social skills books. And look, is everything I read strictly self-improvement? No, it's not. I've listened to hundreds of hours of World War II books. I recently finished a book on the history of MDMA and its current day uses. But is all the stuff that I read strictly non-fiction? Yeah, it is. So find things that you want to improve and read about them. Now, you are going to encounter people that will tell you random bullshit like, oh, you'll grow out of it. Reading self-improvement books is just a phase. But look, I've tried reading literature books. I've really tried. I've bought them and I tried to read all the random bullshit that these skinny neck motherfuckers will tell you to read. Oh, but there's actually a lot of learning lessons in these literature books. Look, if you were like me and you were able to read literature, then we would have been reading from the time that we finished school. But I'm pretty sure me and you missed the memo in school, because people like us do not read bullshit. We do not thrive off of stupid fucking stories that do nothing for our lives. So do not let weak-minded people tell you that you should be reading storybooks. For people that read storybooks, you might as well fucking scroll social media. It's one and the same. You're reading a storybook thinking about, oh, I wish this was me. The fuck? Are you gay? Rant over. Some final little tips that will help you absorb information better when reading books is, if you have a really important book that you are reading, listen to the audio and read it at the exact same time. Studies have shown that you will take in 30% more information. And speaking of audiobooks, consider listening to audiobooks when you're driving in your car, maybe at work if your work isn't very, knowledge-based, if you don't have to sit at a computer and actually do deep work. If you're a construction worker, for the love of God, bro, just go listen to audiobooks. It's such easy XP. And another thing that I want you to remember is, every single time you read a book, it has been shown that you only really keep 10% of the knowledge from reading that book. So if you find a book that's really, really life-changing, read it over as many times as you can. Read it over 10 times. There are books that I read over and over and over again. Give yourself the refresher, because reading one really good book 10 times is far superior than reading 10 books once. When you're reading, take notes, figure out ways that you can apply the information into your life immediately, and also, if you can, get a Kindle. From what I hear, this will make you like 10 times more consistent in reading. Number 3, social life. Having an active social life has infinite benefits, and for the guys watching this video, they will know how much it actually improves your dating life. At my lowest point in life, the only social life that I had was my classmates, the people that I sat around in school. And look, these people are fine. I've made some good memories with them. But regardless of that, I was deeply lonely. I went from having no friends, having zero social skills, not being able to talk to anyone, to now being the person that can strike up conversations with random people and make friends within literal minutes of arriving to a location. Just the day before, I joined the new gym. On the first day, I made 3 friends. I talked to a trainer, I talked to a guy, and I also chatted up a girl and got her Instagram. How would you feel if you could make yourself known within every room that you walk into? How much better would your life be if you were socially smooth with everyone? Well, let me tell you something, you can get there, but as everything is in life, this is a skill that you need to develop. You see, I never started off confident, and far from it. And look, generally speaking, I am a massive introvert, but I do realize that being introverted has no direct correlation on being socially anxious. Just because I'm introverted doesn't mean I can't become outgoing and charming and confident. This is a thing that I notice with introverts. They use the excuse of introversion to not become socially fluent and never build that skill. For my introverts out there, do not let this hold you back. And look, something that I can tell you is that it's less common to see a socially outgoing introvert, but the introverts that are socially outgoing are always more charismatic than the most charismatic extroverts. Just by nature of us having to work more on our social skills than naturally outgoing people, we become better at it. So don't let this hold you back. I've spent hundreds of hours studying social dynamics, reading social skills books, watching courses that I spent my hard-earned money on. I've talked to people and got weird glances. I've said jokes that fell fucking flat on their face. I've been rejected by girls more times than I can count. This is something that you need to build up, and it's difficult. Yeah, it sucks, it's awkward, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. So let me tell you exactly how you can level up socially. You need to use similar principles that we use in weightlifting. You start really easy and then you progress over time. If you have zero social skills, walk up to the least threatening person that you can find and strike up a conversation with them, or just give them a compliment if you're not even sociable enough to have a talk off the top of your brain. Look, when I started, I used to compliment old people and the most nerdy looking kids. My first friends that I made without anyone else helping me were literal nerds that I had nothing in common with. Now sure, some of these actually became pretty cool people and I ended up hanging out with them, but most of these people I did not want to talk to. It was just me using them for social XP, and I'm sorry to all of you guys that I used you. So just walk up to a nerdy guy, walk up to an old guy, walk up to an old woman and say something along the lines of, "Hey, I like your scarf. Hey, your jacket's really red. Have a good day." It's that simple, and bam, you got social XP. Then later down the road, you can progress this. You come up to a nerd and say, "Hey, nice glasses. How's your week going?" Now, of course, you don't say that, but you get the point. Then you start progressing this to higher status people. You make the conversations deeper, try to add in some jokes that may be a little controversial. Always be increasing the difficulty up until the point where you are comfortable talking to anyone with your own personality. The one thing that will socially change your life the most is you need to simply become the person who talks to everyone. Have that old man energy. You come to the gym, you handshake like 5 different people, you talk to the guys, you talk to the girls, you talk to the trainers. Be as social as possible. And the more social you become, the easier it becomes to be social. The more you do it, the easier it is. Now, if you want to make friends from these small social interactions, by nature of talking to a lot of people, you are going to find a couple of people who you actually hit it off with. This is quite rare, but that's normal. You're not going to be compatible with a lot of people, but maybe 1 in 20 people, 1 in 50 people that you talk to are literally going to become some of your best friends. So all you have to do is when you're talking to them, just exchange Instagrams, exchange information, and then keep in contact. It's that simple. Number 4, deep work. Finding a fulfilling task that you can pour your soul into every single day is the number 1 best way to live a fulfilling and happy life. I have found that my fulfillment is 1-to-1 directly correlated to how hard I'm pushing in my goals. And here's a little small thing that I find interesting. It's not exactly how much success I am currently getting in the moment, but how hard deep down inside I know I am pushing towards a better future. If I am giving it my all and leaving nothing at the table, I am much more fulfilled than if I'm making a lot of money and getting a lot of subscribers, but I know that I could be pushing harder. You need to find something to work towards every single day for hours on end that will push you in the general life direction that you want to go into. For me, back in the day, a couple of years ago, it was my gaming channel. Nowadays, it's this channel, it's the courses, it's the software. In a couple of days on my channel, subscribe, you will see a video called 5 Ways to Overcome Laziness, and this will delve into the topic of deep work a little bit more, but as a little rundown for now, let me explain it to you in a clear and concise way. Deep work is a phrase from this book right here, but it has transcended the book and become a living and breathing concept. By the way, I'm rereading this book right now, so I do practice what I preach. I'm not just some random doofus on the internet, making shit up. The idea behind deep work is that most people spend 8 hours per day working, but those 8 hours they could have condensed into 1 hour of actual focused work. People distract themselves by talking to other people, checking their phone, and multitasking. Deep work is long periods of uninterrupted focus. Me making this video is the perfect example that we can use to explain deep work. I woke up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and this is basically my first task of the day. My mind is fresh, I have nothing to eat, I had 0 calories, I chug my black coffee, and I get my ass to work. My room is dark. There are no sounds, there are no unnecessary lights, my blinds are closed, I can't see out the window, my phone is not in my room, all the notifications are off. I have nothing to do but work. It's 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning. Nobody else is up. What am I gonna do? The hoes are asleep, all my friends are asleep. Am I gonna wake up first thing in the morning and play video games? Not really, I don't want to. Am I gonna scroll in the morning? No. Am I gonna do any other bad habit? No, there's literally nothing else to do but work. Work is the most stimulating thing that I can do right now. So by nature of not having anything else to do, of course I'm going to work. And so I sit here every single morning doing the same thing over and over again for 3 to 4 hours, and that is deep work. Number 5, martial arts. This is something that I started quite late in my journey, but the confidence that I gained from this was life-changing. You see, most people start martial arts just so they can feel confident in themselves and know that they can defend themselves if anything goes wrong. And for the love of God, can we just embrace this idea? People will lie to you to make themselves look better and say, oh, I started martial arts because I fell in love with this style of training or this and that. No, I started Muay Thai because I wanted to beat the shit out of people who wanted smoke. And sure, later down the road, I actually fell in love with the sport and I loved the flow state that fighting actually put me into. But it's very normal that you start a martial art just so you can learn how to fight. So don't think that it's shallow in any way. So look, go sign up to the closest martial art club that you can and just go 3 times per week. This is exactly what I did, and this is what I recommend for beginners. Now you can progress the amount that you go later in your journey, but for the love of God, start as slow as possible, because if you go every single day, you're gonna get scared off. Leave your ego at the door. Don't try to show off to people. Don't be an asshole. Just be respectful there, because if you're not, then they're gonna kick your ass, and we don't want any of that to be happening. Sooner or later, you will become better, and the confidence boost that you get from this is literally, as I said, life-changing. The amount of quality of life increase that you get from not being fat is great. The quality of life increase that you get from not being fat and also being jacked is even greater. But the quality of life increase, the self-respect and respect from others that you get when you are in fantastic shape, muscular, you know how to fight, and you're a kind-hearted social person is literally incomparable to anything else. Learning how to fight will give you the self-respect that you cannot develop anywhere else. You can, with the will of your body, defend and protect the people you love. You start to feel safe wherever you go, and you know that you could handle anything that life throws at you. And that, I think, is true power. Number 6, mindset work. You need to make brainwashing yourself a hobby in your day-to-day life. Now, this is an extension of number 2, which was reading, but I think this is powerful enough to merit its own point. You need to rewire your own psychology, and the more often you can do this, the better it's going to be. Imagine if your mind never thought negatively. Imagine if your own mind always told you that you could do it and found a way how. How much money would you pay for that? So to brainwash yourself, read books, invest in courses, watch positive videos like this one, learn about visualizations, learn about journaling practices that allows your mind to become positive. Now, I will give you a couple of book recommendations that permanently changed my psychology and the way that I thought up until the point where I actually started dreaming positive things. And those 3 books are The Magic of Thinking Big, Psycho-Cybernetics, and Think and Grow Rich. There is no success for people who do not think they can be successful. Your success starts with mindset and ends with mindset. And frankly, I don't know how the hell to explain this concept to you. You either get it or you don't get it. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about or have the slightest doubt about what I mean by this, then just for the love of God, go read these 3 books and you will instantly understand exactly what I'm talking about. If you found this video helpful and you trust me enough, press the first link in the description and join our school group. There you will find more non-conventional courses on nutrition, productivity, weight loss, muscle growth, and overall self-improvement that will fast track your journey to success.